Today marks day 50 of Russia's invasion of the sovereign nation. However, Ukraine has been putting up a stiff resistance from the start and is now claiming it used two anti-ship cruise missiles to attack what's known as the flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet. ABC News foreign correspondent James Longman joins me now from Kyiv, Ukraine, as well as Daryl Blocker, ABC News contributor and former senior CIA field operative. Daryl, let me start with you. That Russian ship in the Black Sea, named after Russia's capital city, now said to be towed to port. The Pentagon says Russian sailors were evacuated to other ships. Can you put into context here what this could mean for Putin?
Well, it can mean a lot of things for Putin, and we need to understand the history that the Black Sea Fleet, the same Ukrainian Navy, served with their Russian counterparts all the way through, through the breakup of the Soviet Union, and of course over the last 30, 40 years. So that Black Fleet was split up between Georgia, the Ukraine, and Russia. These officers all know each other, and I think that Putin has maybe forgotten that those folks were trained by them. They know how their leaders think, and they know how to use the propaganda, and they use to push them off the scale, so to speak.
And James, what's the morale like in Kyiv amid these claims from Ukraine?
I think, Kenneth, it's almost disbelief that they've managed to do this. I mean, we haven't had any confirmation that this was, in fact, the Ukrainians that took out this ship. But we're talking about the Moskva. It's named after the capital of Russia. They have essentially sunk, possibly, the capital of Russia during this war. I mean, if there were pictures of this ship going down, this would make headlines around the world. This is an enormous moment for this country, and I think it just serves to underline just in every way that this invasion has just gone so badly for Russia, at least in the eyes of Ukraine. Militarily, they have lost at least 10,000 troops at this point, countless amounts of military equipment and vehicles. I mean, the last estimate from US intelligence on the number of troops lost was around 10,000, but that number is surely a lot higher now. So just psychologically, the impact of this loss for both the Ukrainians, the kind of positive impact it has on them, and the negative impact it will have in Russia is huge, and the kind of diplomatic failure that this war seems to have generated. You know, we've had now Finland and Sweden talking about joining NATO. We've had the leaders of the Baltic states, Latvia, Estonia, Poland, Lithuania, their leaders all in this country, shoring up their alliance. Every single objective that Vladimir Putin said he wanted to achieve as a result of this war seems to be failing. And the Moskva, this apparent attack on the Moskva, just underlines that reality. Kenneth?
And just to remind our viewers, James, about the Moskva, this damaged cruiser, it was one of two warships that attacked Snake Island, now famous for the moment Ukrainian soldiers held up the middle finger and told Russian troops to go, go F themselves. I got to be PG here. So how does this look for Ukraine here, especially when we talk about propaganda and really kind of rallying the folks up there?
Yeah, right at the beginning of this invasion, the Moskva was said to have sent a radio signal to Ukraine saying, you must surrender, you must give up your weapons, surrender to the Russian Federation. In response, there was a group of Ukrainian soldiers on Snake Island, which is in the Black Sea, who replied saying that Russia could have essentially just, take that message and they refused, let's put it like that. And so that they became national heroes, and they've become folk heroes almost in this country. There was a stamp that was issued of the image of a Ukrainian soldier giving the middle finger to the Moskva. And throughout this war, that has been an image of basically the Ukrainian resistance to this great, their Russian neighbor who has continued this invasion in their country. And so, there couldn't be a greater win for Ukraine in terms of the propaganda of this war, but the reality of what this might mean on the ground, well, you're hearing it here. This is another a siren here, a warning of a possible airstrike, and I think this raises the possibility of further strikes inside Ukraine, across this country, not just in the east. This has been such a big loss for Russia that there is every possibility that they now respond, and that includes hitting command centers inside this country. They've already said that they want to do that. Ukraine has been hitting targets inside Russia, and Russia has said that they want to respond and hit command centers. Well, this apparent hit on the Moskva will give them another pretext for possible launches of targeted attacks. And you're hearing these air sirens now in Kyiv. That's a sign of what might be to come. Kenneth?
James, obviously we've been concerned about, the safety of you and our other ABC News colleagues in the field there. I hear that siren. Please tell us, does that mean you need to leave this live shot right now?
No, we're okay. If we feel that there's a problem, Kyiv is quite heavily protected. I mean, we hear often in the distance the sounds of anti-aircraft machinery coming into action, taking out whatever might be coming into Kyiv. This is the big part of what Ukraine is asking for, by the way, more of these anti-aircraft capabilities to stop the kinds of attacks on Kyiv that might be coming down the line. And that's part of this $800 million package that President Biden has promised President Zelensky to stop cities like Kyiv getting hit by Russian attacks. Kenneth?
Wow, just incredible. And James, I know you've been covering this war for the past few weeks and since the start, and I think you are a lot calmer than I would be right now. So my hat's off to you, my friend. Just incredible work you're doing. And please let us know if you do need to leave. Your safety is the top priority here. But Daryl, let me turn back to what Russia is saying about Ukraine's claims here. They admit it in Russia that this cruiser has been abandoned, although they make no mention of a strike blaming an ammunition fire instead. We know that John Kirby said that it's a little difficult to know with great certitude about how bad this will impact Russia's Navy, Putin's Navy there. John Kirby just said it's going to have an impact on the near term, but on the long term, it's unclear here. There's a connection here, obviously, between that fire and what the claims are from Ukraine, potentially.
I would think so. I mean, it's going to take time to figure out whether it was a Ukrainian missile or whether it was sabotage from people within the ship that didn't want to be in the fight, or whether it was just some unexplained explosion. But I do agree that it is going to have an impact on morale, and morale is sometimes more important than munitions, because it's being proven on the battlefield every day. Ukrainians are being supplied, they're being refed with the munitions they're using, but it's their morale that is making the difference.
All right, Daryl Blocker and our foreign correspondent, James Longman, who's making me very nervous with those sirens. James, please stay safe to you and our team there on the ground. We appreciate it, friend. Thank you, guys.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.